welcome back to my channel. It's just Olivia Lewis, and today we are going to do just a small story time. Don't mind the crying. I don't think she's been in my lap for a bit. I just actually wanted to injure one of my guinea pigs. Almost fell. Oh, she's crying. I'll just show her really quickly, but I just wanted to show another one of my piggies. Ow, she's a biter. This one is Poppy Woppy. Well, her name is Poppy, but she's so chumbawamba. Ow! That we call her Poppy Woppy, and she is trying to eat my fingers. As you can see, she got all that chunk. And my other guinea pig is trying to jump to her death. But anyway, I will give this one back. And I'll just dive straight. Ooh, she's sorry. And I'll just dive straight into the story. Okay, so so this story is just a weird neighbor story. I'm not sure. It's not that long. It's not that serious, but it's pretty weird, pretty unusual. We're still dealing with it even right now, but I guess it calmed down. I'm not sure. I'll probably tell you another story at the end too. That, well, not really a story, but something that something else that also made us feel weird. But anyway, so this story is about my neighbor next door to me, and I believe she has I think she has 2 kids. So she has 2 kids, I think she has 2 boys. And when we first came in, when we first moved in, because we just moved, we kind of heard loud noises, so that the kids would just scream continuously. And I'm not talking about like the normal kids scream like no, not like that. I'm talking about like bloody murder, but you know it's a child who's screaming, and it would be for anything. Like sometimes it will sound like they're screaming for joy, and other times it will just sound like they're just screaming because, I don't know, they're being punished or they're not getting their way, right? Okay, so this happens, and we decide that we're gonna soundproof our door. We're gonna try to soundproof our door, because sometimes what will happen is that early in the morning you'll be sleeping and you're trying to relax, and all you hear is like the children screaming. It's like really loud and annoying, and obviously nobody wants to wake up to that. So, well, really and truly, the morning part didn't really bother me so much because I was an early riser, but it really did bother Sky. So we decided that we're gonna soundproof the door. So we tried to soundproof the door, and some things happened and we couldn't fully soundproof it. So we only got the soundproof on like the bottom part. And we tried to cope with it until we could, I don't know, either fully soundproof the door or talk to management, which I guess I could have done earlier, but I wasn't really trying to start no beef with nobody. You know what I mean? So anyway, a few weeks, I guess, go by. Not even a few weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks go by, and the noise starts getting worse. So at this moment, the noise sounds closer because she's 2 doors down from me. Well, I guess, yeah, 2 doors, because the person on the other side of the hallway is her direct neighbor. So she's 2 doors down from me, I would say. So all of a sudden, the noise sounds closer. No, it doesn't sound like there is a door that's blocking the noise. It sounds like it's directly outside my door. So every few minutes, when I do hear the noise, I would go and peek, I would peek and see what's going on, what's happening, what's that noise. And I would see the boys outside playing in the hallway. And I'm like, this not no playground. Like, why are you outside? And there will be no adults. You just be them on their little tricycles playing in the hallway and like banging against stuff. And I think like 2 days after I saw them doing that, I went outside and there was like a huge gouge in like the wall of the apartment, and it's like tricycle height. So I'm like, okay, I know what these little boys did. They're probably playing, and the tricycle handle probably scraped the side, which is what some of the loud noise that we were hearing, probably that's where it came from. Anyway, didn't say anything, but we continue to try, because it's not that they're infrequent, but they're I would say they're far apart enough that you would miss them, but so by the time you get frustrated and build up like the anger, I wouldn't say anger, but build up the like, I don't know, like by the time you decide in yourself that, oh, you're gonna go talk to somebody about it, it's gone, right? So if you like 2 hours every day, I would say every other day. But then it started getting more frequent, but the more frequent it got is the closer it seemed to be, you know? So like when we couldn't really hear that much, we would hear like from a distance, it would seem like it was in their apartment. But now that it's getting more frequent, it seemed like it was more outside the hallway. So I would check, not opening my door because I'm not trying to have anyone see me, but I would check every few, you know, seconds. When I would hear them, I would check through my little peephole to see them just running amok in there, but like in the hallway, just doing the most, right? So I believe a few days after the first time I saw them outside, they were outside, but they were being loud. I mean, like they were like I would really feel like no one would want their kids to behave like that. Like it just didn't sound good, and I could hear them in the back room of our apartment, which is the last room in our apartment, the furthest from them, through 2 doors, right? So they were being really loud. So I decided to go out there and knock on the mom's door. And right as I opened the door, the neighbor who is directly in front of her, right, on my side of the hallway, opens his door, and I guess she hears both doors opening, so she comes out too. And I guess he sees that it's like she's out there, so he's trying to spare her feelings, I think, because he was being really nice to her. So I'm like waiting my turn because I have manners. So I'm gonna tell her like, hey, you need to know, you know, like you need to keep your kids quiet. But since they were talking before I, you know, got there, like right as I opened my door, they started chatting. I'm not gonna be like, oh, excuse me, like, no, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm just gonna wait patiently until they're finished, and then I'm gonna walk up to her, you know, and say my piece. So I'm just right at my door, you know, just waiting. And she gives me the dirtiest look. And I'm like, how are you supposed to be giving me dirty looks when your kids are the monsters? But obviously, I see you can't blame the kids. You can't have to blame the parents. But I'm just like, something must be wrong with these kids' behavioral issues or something for them to be acting up like this, right? Like, for you to put them out of your house because that's what it seemed like she was doing. It almost seemed like when they got too much for her in the apartment, she would put them out. Like she would put them out in the hallway, which you're not supposed to do, right? Like the hallways, it's not a playing area, right? Like what if they get hurt? What if people come past and take them away? Like even for your kids' own safety, like why would you put them outside? Like if you want to put them outside, put them on the balcony. You can bring them for a walk. There's like a park not even 2 minutes from where we live, right? So anyway, why are you doing that? So anyway, I'm standing there, I'm waiting, and she gives me this dirty look. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. Obviously, she wants all that smoke, and I'm not in the mood. I think I was like going to work in like an hour or so, and I was not about to stand there and argue with someone about the noise. And I'm thinking in my head, probably she feels bad. Maybe the man, even though he seemed nice, maybe he was nicely telling her, you know, your kids, they can't be out here like disturbing people like that, because she's not the only one who lives there. And I think it's a lot of older people who live where I live. Well, at least I'm saying on my floor, because that's all I see, old people. There's a nice old lady in front of me. She cleans all the time. I just love her. Anyway, so I decided at that moment that, you know what, I'm not going to say anything to her right now, because the way how she looked at me, I kind of felt like she wouldn't have been receptive to what I was saying to her, even if I said it in a nice tone. I'm not gonna jump to no race card. I'm not sure if it was because I was black, because she was being very nice to the white man, right? But it could have been a lot of things. Like I was standing there, she probably didn't understand why I was standing there. or she probably felt embarrassed because I came out the same time the man came out. So there was a lot of things. So I was like, you know what, let me not try and push it. Like, let me just not try and do that. So a few days go by, and I think I was coming, like I just came from work. It was probably, no, I think I just woke up. It was probably like 12 because I do the night shift. So I think I was getting myself situated or something. But I think we had gone out and come back in, and we were gonna leave again. So I knew we were rushing. So I think it was around 12. So I know I had probably work in the night, and we were rushing. I think we went for a walk. We came back up. Oh yes, I remember. So we came back up for something for my mom because we didn't take it on the walk with us. And Sky went in. I went just to the kitchen, and I took up what I needed, but just out of habit, I locked the door too. So you know how you can just push the door up and it locks, but then you have the latch that you have to turn. So just through force of habit, I turned the latch too. Nobody was outside. I just turned the latch. We were literally gonna come out in 5 seconds, but just force of habit, I turned the latch, right? So I turned the latch, and Sky comes back up, and I'm talking to him, and I hear a jiggle, like, you know, like someone is coming into the apartment. But sometimes that happens because they deliver mail through the slot, and the slot has like an iron, like the flap. So sometimes it does sound like someone's coming into the apartment when really and truly they're just pushing the mail through the slot, right? So it jiggles. So I'm like, that could be a lot of things. It could be the door knocker. Someone could be pushing mail. I'm not thinking someone is actually jiggling the doorknob. So I ignored, and I continued talking what I'm saying, like talking to Sky. And then I heard it again. I'm like, wait, did you hear that? Like I said to him, like, wait, did you hear that? And then he's like, I think he said he kind of heard it, but then it stopped. So we're just listening to nothing, like just white noise. And then it happened again. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, maybe someone is coming for maintenance, but I'm like, why would someone come for maintenance and not knock? Why would you jiggle my door handle? Like, what? So I look through the little door thingy, and I'm looking straight forward. So I'm not seeing anyone. So I look down, and I see these two little boys, and I hear the jiggle again. They're literally trying to come into the apartment, like they're twisting the knob. But because the door is the lock on my side is closed, they can't get in. I'm like, what the heck? Like I'm getting so angry at this point, because I'm like, they stay being like, this is out of order, disgusting. Like if I was a serial rapist, I could have just I could take them. Like who taught them, like a lot, I don't know, a lot of things were going through my mind. Like I'm like, who taught you this? Like, do you think that this is something like that you should be doing? Like they're young, but they're not that young. Like they're young enough to know not to do certain things. That they were like, I would say 6, 7. So, but again, it's a parent's fault because they put them outside and expect them not to do stuff like this. So they're jiggling the lock. So I open it and I say, hey, you cannot come in here. And they're pushing past me. Like, so they're both boys are right in front of my door. And I open it just enough for my body to come outside. But I still have the door like pushed like this. Like, so it's leaning like this. And I'm holding it open because the door opens inside. And I'm like, oh, hey, you can, oh, hey, you can come in here. Don't do that. That's rude. Just a normal, like, strong talk or whatever. And these boys are pushing me out of the way to come inside. And they seem very happy, like it's a game. Like when you're playing hide and seek with somebody or something, and they're just like, oh yeah, like we found the best hiding spot. It wasn't like they were scared that they were running from anybody or nothing. Like they legit were so happy that I opened the door for them. They were ready to play inside my apartment. I don't know these little kids. So I guess the mom heard me talking to them, and she came outside and they went to her, I believe, And I closed the door because I was gonna say something to Sky, I believe, and then I opened the door because we were going to leave, right? Because I'm not into no smoke. Like, I'm just upset at this point, and she's still out there, so I'm just like holding the door for Sky to come up with like the recycling I believe he had in his hand. And she's like, she turned to me and she's like, what is it? And I'm like, your children were trying to force their way into my apartment. She literally dead ass. This lady just stared at me and just walked into her apartment. I don't know if she didn't understand what I was saying, because I think her little kids were talking, like they were speaking another language, like a Middle Eastern language. So I'm not really sure if they spoke English. I'm not sure. I think she would speak English because she's in Canada. Unless like you're a refugee or something, I believe you have to take like an English test. So I'm sure she must understand something, right? And so she didn't like she understood enough to ask me what is it? So like, do you want to smoke or no? Because like your kids are over here opening people's doors, right? But anyway, she goes into her apartment and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So I tell Sky what just happened, and he's like what? And I'm like, yeah, like that's what just happened. Regardless, I wasn't gonna knock on this lady's door because I'm not trying to fight with nobody yet. But I decide that when I come back, I'm going to write an email or call the administration for the administrative office for this apartment and just tell them what's up, because since she want all that smoke, I'm ready to give it to her, but I'm not gonna be like in her face or anything, because I don't even know if she can understand what I'm saying, right? And this is obviously not the first time, because when we first moved in, the nosy neighbor, I haven't told you about that one yet, but like just a little old lady who at the first day we moved in, she started giving us gossip, and I'm like, I don't like you, lady, because why are you gossiping on the first day? But she did tell us that if you hear any noise, it's the lady over there because she has loud kids, right? So yeah, I found that strange, but I understood now what she's talking about. So a few days later, we hear the children outside, just having the whale of a time, just having the time of their lives. So I just called, I just called the office, and I just told them, listen to me, this is what's going on, this is what happened, and this is what happened. And after that, like after like a day or two, I didn't really hear any noise. Like I hear them now and again, but like I hear them screaming in their house. So they're no longer, I guess she no longer leaves them out in the hallway sometimes, because sometimes I do hear them out there, but I guess she doesn't leave them out in the hallway all the time like she usually does. But they're still screaming and acting up in the in like her apartment. And I think one other time I heard her outside screaming at them, and they were refusing to go inside the apartment or something. But I was like, not my children, so it's not my problem, right? Not my children, not my problem. That's my motto. Not my children, not my problem. But when they start trying to come into my apartment, it's definitely my problem. And I'm thinking about it, like I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm like, what are you teaching your kids to have them think that it's okay to go into a stranger's place? Like, they don't know me. What if I was on like a freaking sex offender registry or something? Like, what if I was a sex offender? Like, they would have been gone. Like, she's making it so easy for people to take away her kids. Like, if someone took away her kids, I couldn't even feel that sorry for her, because she's literally leaving them in a hallway where there is 11 floors. There are 11 floors with at least 15 apartments per floor, right? Or 10 apartments per floor, I believe. I think it's 10 apartments per floor. And you don't know who else is passing through these places, right? Delivery people, like just friends of other people. Like, you don't know, right? They're supposed to be on lockdown, but people still going through Uber Eats. People are just walking up and down the hall because it's an apartment, male people, and your kids are just there without any supervision. Like, and you're not even, like, it's not like she had her door open and she could see them run past or something. Like, she had her apartment door closed, so they could be gone and she wouldn't even know, right? The only time she hears something is if someone shouts at them or someone reprimands them outside. Then she would hear someone else's voice, and I guess that's when she comes out. But anyway, I haven't really had a problem with that, like them knocking on my door or like jiggling the lock to come in. But I'm still keeping my eye out for that, because I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But a small little weird thing that happened was, we were outside on the balcony once. Well, Sky was outside, I was inside, and I just heard Sky like shout really loud. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I go outside, and I think someone threw like water from their balcony. And so we called the office, and the office called the apartment, and then the lady was saying, oh no, she didn't throw the water, she was watering her plants. And I'm like, how much water are you giving your plants for there to be a gush of water? Like, it wasn't a drip, it was enough to wet somebody up. Like, you know, when someone throws a bucket of water, that's how it was. So how much water are you throwing on your plants for all of that water to miss the plant and go down to someone else's balcony? And the water didn't run off the balcony and drip on ours. It was almost like it was thrown and then the breeze blew it back, because it was like on the wall, like on the wall of our balcony, like the actual wall, not like the balcony wall, but like the wall itself. So there must have been some, you know, throwing motion blowing back. So I don't know. She said she wouldn't do it again, but I'm like, okay, well, if you say so, that's completely fine, but I don't believe you. Like, this is obviously something that you do on the regular, and it was too cold. Why are you watering your plants outside? How are you watering your plants outside? Why are your plants even outside? It's cold. It's really cold. We're in Canada. Why are you watering? Like, we're still wearing winter jackets outside. No plants are outside. Like, why do you have your plants outside on the balcony? Makes zero sense, right? That's what I was thinking too. But anyway, I guess she probably has like really good plant fingers. I don't know, and her plants just love her and they thrive in the cold. So I don't know, man. People are weird in this apartment. It is like, I think those are the only two weird stories. Everyone else seemed pleasant, but there's some weird people. But I guess that makes for good stories. I don't know. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.